When you think of the Greek gods, a couple of big names probably jump to mind. Zeus, right? Up on his throne in the clouds. Or maybe Hades, ruling the underworld. Well, today we're diving deep, literally, into the story of the third great brother, Poseidon. He's the powerful, the unpredictable, and honestly, the often terrifying god whose temper could shake the very ground we stand on. See, to really get Poseidon, you have to understand he wasn't just a god. He was one-third of the most powerful trio in the entire cosmos. After this massive, universe-shaking war against their own father and the Titans, he, Zeus, and Hades basically drew straws to divide up all of creation. And that one cosmic gamble, it would define his entire destiny. So how did he get all this power? Well, his story doesn't start on a throne. Nope, it starts in probably the worst place you can imagine, inside his own father's stomach. Let's trace his absolutely incredible rise from prisoner to king. I mean, his early life was just a wild ride. Like his brothers and sisters, Poseidon was swallowed whole by his dad, the Titan king Cronus. Cronus was absolutely paranoid about a prophecy that one of his kids would overthrow him. But the youngest, Zeus, managed to escape. He eventually came back, freed all his siblings, and together they waged this brutal 10-year war for control of everything. And after they finally won, it was time to split the spoils. So when the lots were drawn, the universe got carved up into three huge realms. Zeus, of course, got the sky. Hades drew the short straw, maybe, and got the shadowy underworld. And Poseidon? He became lord of all the waters of the world. Every single ocean, every sea, every river, it was all his kingdom now. But here's the thing. Being king of the sea meant a whole lot more than just bossing fish around. Poseidon's power was raw, elemental, and it could literally shake the foundations of the world. He had a lot of titles, but the one that tells you everything you need to know is Earthshaker. This is so important. It reminds us that his power wasn't just stuck in the water. With one slam of his trident, he could crack the earth open, create massive canyons, and trigger devastating earthquakes. His domain wasn't just the ocean, it was the untamable power of the planet itself. And like any great king, he had his symbols. The trident is the obvious one, forged by the Cyclops and just radiating power. Dolphins and fish were his messengers and his subjects. But the one that'll really surprise you? The horse. Yeah, the horse. Isn't that wild? The god of the sea is said to have created the very first horse by striking the earth, a perfect link between the crashing of waves and the thundering of hooves. Okay, so you've got all this incredible power, but it came with a famously short fuse. Poseidon's temper was just like the sea. One minute it's calm and beautiful, the next it's a raging, destructive storm. And that temper? It led to some of the most epic feuds in all of mythology. One of his biggest rivalries was with his own niece, Athena. They were competing over who would be the patron god of this amazing new city. And Athena's offer was brilliant, just super smart. The olive tree. It was a gift of food, oil, wood, basically a symbol of lasting peace and civilization. Poseidon's response, on the other hand, was all about raw power and spectacle. He slammed his trident into the Acropolis, and bam, a spring erupted. Super impressive, right? But there was one tiny problem. The water was salt water, totally useless. So the people chose Athena's practical gift, and the city, of course, became Athens. For a god as proud as Poseidon, this was a public humiliation he would never, ever forget. But if you think that was bad, his most infamous grudge was against the hero Odysseus. When Odysseus blinded Poseidon's son, the Cyclops Polyphemus, the god unleashed his full, terrifying fury. This wasn't about a quick revenge. Oh no, this was a masterclass in cruelty. He hunted Odysseus across the seas with storm after storm, turning what should have been a short trip home into a 10-year-long nightmare. The message was loud and clear. You do not mess with the family of the Sea King. So here we are, thousands of years later. Why are we still telling these stories? Well, because Poseidon isn't just some dusty figure from an old myth. His presence, his power, it's still all around us. No, really, it's a great question to ask yourself. In our modern world of science and technology, what is it about this ancient, moody god of the deep that still fascinates us so much? Well, the truth is, he's kind of everywhere. In books, you've got huge series like Percy Jackson bringing him to a whole new generation. In movies and comics, you have characters like Aquaman, who is basically a modern superhero version of Poseidon.
And even in the real world, his name is still given to mighty ships and submarines, a sign of respect to the original ruler of the deep.
And maybe that's the real answer, isn't it? As long as we stand on a beach and look out at that huge, powerful, mysterious ocean, a force that is both beautiful and absolutely terrifying, we're feeling the exact same awe our ancestors did. In that moment, we are still feeling the presence of Poseidon, the Earthshaker.